So I'm back again by unpopular demand. And tonight we're going to be looking at the evolving philosophy of a middle-aged man and a particularly good cover version. In the spirit of this channel, I'm trying to stick with the stuff that I know, but find different ways to look at it, and stubbornly refusing to do the obvious songs in the obvious ways. And in keeping with that thinking, I found a particularly good cover version of Middletown Dreams. And I wanted to take a look at that tonight, not just because it's a particularly good cover version, but because, interestingly, the lyrics of this song sort of directly relate to the lyrics of Something for Nothing, the last song that I did that was also a cover version. So in a way, this is a matching set. So let's click the various buttons, turn the various things on that need to be on and off that need to be off, and let's take a look and a listen and a read to Middletown Dreams. Convincing musically, obviously. And then the tone of this singer is, we'll talk more about that. Her tone is astonishing.
Office store closed early. The hidden Bible came out. The salesman turned to close the blinds. A little slow now, a little stop. But he's still heading down those tracks. Any day now for sure. Another day is drab as today is more than a man can endure.
So this is another one of those times, like Losing It, where Neil Peart paints incredibly vivid, incredibly familiar stories, pictures of incredibly tactile and familiar scenes. The salesman with the bottle in the drawer. He's got a little slower. He's got a little fatter, but he's still got his dreams. But he's still heading down those tracks any day now for sure. I can only imagine that by the time 10 years later, 10 years after he wrote You Won't Get Something for Nothing, Peart was feeling like he was maybe getting a little slower, a little stouter, as we all do. And 10 years ago, he was absolutely relentless about this idea of you won't get wise with the sleep still in your eyes, no matter what your dreams might be. And in a way, condemning the idea of dreaming alone. 10 years later, he's writing a song about the redemptive power of dreams. One day I'm going to be getting into Meatloaf, Jim Steinman, as much as Meatloaf, and Jim Steinman's ability to convince me that I've never seen Stephen King and Jim Steinman in the same room at the same time, because those two writers both know how to capture the essence of Americana in their writing. But in his own way, so does Peart. The boy here could almost be the same boy who lay in the grass unmoving, staring at the sky with a blade of grass in his teeth as his mother called him. He paints this incredibly vivid, cinematic picture of this scene. These two friends walking through the fields. I love the line, one close, one far away, because only one of them knows that they are far away. It's an incomplete thought, but there's something quite intriguing about that idea that the dreamer is dreaming while his friend right there at his side isn't. And then obviously, Peart I don't think he ever got on a bus with a guitar, but it feels like there's a sense of Peart in this, a sense memory, if you like, of himself and his dreams as he was, as his own story tells us, playing the drums to the point of obsession in the dream of getting away. It's a fantastic. I can see these pictures. The music isn't necessarily cinematic. Rush do that in other songs. They paint those cinematic pictures musically and textures musically in other songs. This is almost a pop song, but the imagery of it is cinematic. It's in 16:9. It's in widescreen, and it's incredibly and totally familiar. So, for me, I relate most, I guess, to the boy and the sales and the going to fat salesman, and clearly from losing the ability to write. But this image, the middle-aged Madonna, and understanding this is not a middle-aged sex puppet Madonna. This is not the pop star Madonna. This is the middle-aged virgin. The middle-aged is the word neophyte, who's never gone to the big city, never painted the big city red, but dreams that she will one day. I have this mental picture of Peart, derived from, as much as anything, beyond the lighted stage. He was a man who spent a lot of time traveling around the world on his own, and by his own admission, spent a lot of time observing the world unobserved. He hid from his celebrity, and he hid from the lifestyle of the celebrity, and that allowed him, I think, to observe people, the minutiae of life, the middle America, the Middletown version of life, from the diner window, from the back of a motorbike, from the gas station. I imagine him standing there, sitting there, making notes about these lives that he was witnessing. And the amazing thing, I guess, is clearly being able to relate to them, to be able to relate to remember his own small town background, his own working life at his father's, was it a tractor company, a farm implement company, his own youth as a dreamer, his own time in in the subdivisions, dreaming of the big city. He seemed to be able to always capture that memory, that sense, and paint these great pictures. And I love the storyteller in him in that respect. He went from telling stories about a quest for immortality, stories about the battles between the gods, stories of Baitor and the Snow Dog. He went from telling these grand fantasy stories to telling the stories of simple people in Middletown. And in making that transition, he increasingly spoke to the heart of our collective humanity. This girl's voice is astonishing. There's something about Geddy's voice that is incredibly hard to replicate for cover bands. I love her tone. I love the fact that she sings this in her voice. As a bit of a Geddy fan, I'd love it if somebody in the comments could tell me why any bass player needs 6 strings when Geddy could do it with 4. I've never understood the 24-string bass guitar. It's always confused me. Answers on a postcard, if you will.
It's understood by every single person who'd be elsewhere if they could.
What a voice.
So far, so good. And life's not unpleasant in the little neighborhood.
So there's the thesis of the song, right? There's the thesis of this song. And it's entirely different to the thesis of Something for Nothing, or at least one aspect of that thesis. It's the idea that while you live your simple life, imagining and dreaming of a better life, there is something empowering about retaining the dream. Dreams flow across the heartland, feeding on the fires. They transport desires, drive you when you're down. Dreams transport the ones who need to get out of town, says Peart. This is not the Peart of Ayn Rand, saying, what was it? You won't get wise with the sleep still in your eyes, no matter what your dreams might be. We've moved from there to those dreams are the transportation device for your ambition, and those dreams are the driving force of realizing that ambition. I think I like this better. I think I like this vision better. I think I like what Peart became, how he evolved his philosophy way better. And I do like this band. And I love this singer. He's got 6 strings, but Geddy sounds like that with 4. Just saying. Answers on a postcard. I would love to hear her really let go. I mean, let go like Nanette lets go. A great version of the song. An, an interesting exercise in seeing the evolution of a philosophy. Most of us live in Middletown. Most of us have, I'm going to say, probably incompleted dreams. But they can keep feeding the fire, driving the desire. It was an interesting period for Rush, this. Often dismissed as being a bit too synthy, a bit too poppy. But this was the period when Neil Peart really started to write stuff that was about our shared humanity. And I love him for it. Thanks for watching, if you still are. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I'm enjoying making them. Keep the faith.